it's time to start thinking about putting the radiator on there. So I've set it up with things I think need to be considered when setting up the radiator, and see how it goes. This cover may be important. The steering head with the forks going through there may be important. I'll put a spark plug cap on there, that might be important. Anyway, so my plan is to put a radiator there to balance out the blower, which will be on the other side, but I've got some self-imposed rules. I don't want to put some kind of angle iron across here, because it will just look crude. So I want to figure something out where I can get the radiator on there. Get the radiator, let's see if I can hold that and get back here. Get the radiator on there, maybe a bit closer. Get the radiator on there, something like that. I'll take better pictures when I've got the first bit of it made, but I want to do it something like that, and I don't want any crossbars on there. I want to keep that open. I want the radiator to be there as its own thing and not look like it's hanging off something, just sort of be there. My first phase of making this hanger is trying to work out what I actually have to work with, and like that's smooth. I don't have much there. I can't build anything off the motor, or I could take something from here. Or I don't really want to weld this stuff. This is like super thin, soft, and I don't know, I don't trust it in any way, so I just want to leave that alone and build around it. Anyway, so I've got these two screws. They're not the world's best. I've got that poking in there, but that is a flat angle along there. I can utilise that, and then I've got to deal with that, and that's identical on the other side. So here we go, identical on the other side. So what I've got, my first part of my plan is I've built this thing up, and this is just something that goes in there, sits up against that, and hooks into that. So if I go like, whoops, one-handed here, it's not working too well, looking through a screen as well. So anyway, there we go, we got it in, and now I can build something off. Now that locks itself into place, sort of, because of it goes in, and I'll put a bolt through that side, and I'll build another little piece up for this side as well, for it once to fall down. Now look, if I put it like this, it's okay. This is just about got stage one done. So now I've just got to figure out something, you know, probably a bit of steel coming down here like this, and anyway, I'll work it out and show you what happens. Okay, first stage is done. Now that, you know, sits in there tight, like it's not even bolted in, but it's not going anywhere. My down member that I want to bolt the radiator to, it's going to be off this one. Now I've shaped it, see all that. So what I'm thinking is, I'm trying to be, trying to be careful of is I don't know what word you call it, but like the forces or the energy. Now there's going to be weight, so it's going to be downwards, and that won't go downwards. The energy won't happen because that's angle iron there, and that can't bend in, so that'll hold the weight well. It can't get anywhere off that, because that's sort of held on that side and the other side, so it can't twist, you know. It can't twist down like that, because it can't go up one side, can't come down. So that'll hold the energy that way. And then this one here, the angle iron running that direction, it can't twist that way. So all in all, that, I think that'll do the job, and it's largely out of the way so you can't see it. Now I'll weld that in place there. I've got plenty of places to weld it on. I can weld it on that side. I've shaped this. It's not quite where I want it to be, but I've shaped that so that it sort of blends in. There'll be something like that. I've shaped that. So that goes up like that, and you saw me the picture before where I just saw this comes out like this. I just cut along it and then bent it around that steel to go down like that. It's a non-structural thing, so I just need a little bit of weld on the back side of it there, and that'll be enough. But it flows with it, and so it looks nice, and that flows with it. Get around the corner, so it doesn't want to touch that. And I got some, I think I'm no expert, but I think all the angles are covered. The only thing would be if twists come into it, because there's going to be a radiator there pulling down and the wind pushing on it. You want to twist, and the only way I think I have to work out some way just to brace it on the bottom here. It doesn't have to be weight bearing, it doesn't have to be like any of this sort of stuff, just to steady it. And that wouldn't be a bad spot to do it. So once I've got that welded and I've got the holes drilled in and put the radiator on and figure out how to make it all rubber mounted, because the radiator is just, I put that cardboard on it just so I don't destroy it, but the radiator is just aluminium, and it wasn't expensive, so I got to be careful. Now there's rubber mounting, and it transfers across to the other side. So I'm hoping that just by mounting it there and there that it's enough. But I'll incorporate those two. I'll put some rubber behind there, and there's my angle iron like that. So I'll work something out. This is my practice one. So I'll work something out. I'll make some rubber blocks, and that'll do that. But I don't want it to like solid mounted so it gets vibration through. I want to keep it rubber mounted. I don't know if it's important. I just feel I'll do that. So everything's sort of soft touch with that. And look, nothing here is touching. That's all. It's close, but it's not touching. But I will brace it there, just to take any thought of movement out of it, so it just sort of sits nice. I've got the radiator bolted up, that's where it's going to sit, and just a few things I've noticed, like, see how the bottom kicks out a bit. I didn't think at the time, but this is narrow up the top than what it is down the bottom. I've been following that line there, which I think is the right thing to do, but it makes it kick out slightly. Not a big deal, but it does kick out. Now, a couple of other things. See how my foot peg is there? So my leg will be here, so it's inside the leg, and I think that'll be important when it comes to getting it registered. Also, see, there's the side cases, and it's up like that. And if I go over this side, that'll be the side case and the pulley, and it'll be up like that. So I think balanced-wise, they'll at least look like they're both hanging out about the same amount. So I think that's going to be good as well. A bit of a negative I've got going on here is when I sort of pull on it there, see, it wants to pull backwards, which means that get some light in there if I can. These little lugs here, I'm going to have to somehow bolt that through to there, but I can't really because they come too close, so too close to that back metal. They come too close to, see how they're already close? Well, these ones will come out just about in the centre of the V there, so I reckon I'll have to drill it best I can, put a bolt in and then weld it from the top, something like that. Just another thing I want to do now. This has got all soft edges everywhere, so what I'm going to do is, see, that's a rounded edge. That's nice. But these are sharp edges, so I'm going to get a sanding disc and just take the edges off it, make it nice and round. everywhere it's got a sharp edge. I'm going to take it off and make them all round, because everything on that bike is, you know, it's all rounded edges. Everything is old things are round edge, not sharp edge. So it's going to be a really minor thing, like you won't notice it, but see that sharp edges? I'll get rid of them, make them soft edges. It'll just be a little subtle thing. You won't ever see it, you won't ever notice it, but it'll just add to it. Just going to make some 4mm rubber washers for the side of the radiator. Whoops, wrong way. One washer. Well, I got them on there, like that's square. I had to get some Allen key bolts and just sort of grind them off one side. It wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be, and so that just grinds off like that. It fits. Both of them. These bolts had to be ground off from the side. That had to be ground off from the side, but the whole thing, it's got some movement to it, and I can adjust that as tight as I want it to be. I have an idea brewing for how I'm going to clamp it. I'm going to use a U-shackle, but not a complete one. So the idea was I would cut that out and put a hole either side of it. And what I reckon is if I do that just inside there, so it's sort of like that, it'll be partially hidden from all this, and I won't see it. But if I do it one opposite like that, that'll look big and chunky and horrible, and I don't want it to look like that. I want to be, you know, doing the job but hidden. So first thing I did, I just got the grinder and I did some basic runs through there. Then with a file, just sort of filed it out and made it nice, and sort of worked it down till eventually it's there we go, not a bad fit. Why is it that every time you start to do a job, every tool in the shed yells out, pick me, pick me, and they all want to come out and play? And every time I do something, I clean up, do the next job, clean up, do the next job. Okay, so that's going to go in there, and it fits. I went to Bunnings and got this stainless steel bolt that I'm going to make the U-shackle out of. And look, sorry about the noise, but I am in a shed, so I'm going to get a bit of that when it rains. I've got the rod and I've got to bend it around this, which shouldn't be too much trouble, but that's threaded and it looks rough. So what I'll do is I'll measure how much to go around there, and I'll just grind that off from the grinder and make a smooth section, so it just looks a bit prettier and not, your eye is not attracted by the thread. I think the rule of thumb is that whatever you're going to bend it around has to be smaller than what you actually want. So that's the size of the tube, and that's what I've got. It's smaller. I really don't remember. Playing it by winging it. That's what I'm doing. You ready, Mr. Wing? Winging it. For the next 10 minutes it just shows me fuddling my way through trying to bend this round, and it's normally the kind of stuff that I'll delete out, but I might as well show it once. I don't expect anyone to watch it, just sort of move ahead 10 minutes if you want to, but the rain's nice and it just sort of shows me doing what I do and don't normally show. As you can see, this is not a precise science, so I've just got to keep working it. I'll get there. Really don't want to do that because I'll just mess up the thread. No. I just rounded that off a bit. So I'll see if that works any better. I think I've got it, but I'm gonna have to start again. I've just made one the wrong size, so my theory about it being smaller I think is wrong, or the way I've done it. I'll see if I can't press that out, but I think I've stuffed it at this stage. Well, why not keep going? Just about got it down. It's getting there. Ooh. Wasn't that easy, eh? Minor tweak, and I'll edit all of that out of there. I repositioned that little thing I made and put it down the bottom down there, and that sort of makes it disappear. Only problem why I didn't do it before is because it's lower than what I've cut that off to. Maybe I cut that off a bit prematurely, so I'm going to cut up there, cut across, weld a piece on so I can position that lower. Well, it's done. I've made the bracket for the radiator and I'm quite happy with it as functionality wise. It's great. Like that's not bolted in anywhere at the moment. No bolts. This is it's just sitting there like that. To be bolted up, but it's not, right? So that's just sitting there. My welds could be much prettier, but functionality wise, I think it's just fine. It doesn't really highlight itself very much, and it'll hold the radiator out there hanging in the wind. Now, just to give an example, right? This is not bolted in. Just its shape alone holds it in place. Okay, to get it out, I have to kids borrowed the hammer. Can't do it. I need to tap down there, and it slides down and comes out. Okay. Well, anyway, now all I have to do is clean up all those toys. Because I've got to make the cover for the radiator and another outside shroud.